I'm reading from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the festival at Panahati. At dusk, the evening service began in the different temples. The master was sitting on a small couch in his room, absorbed in contemplation of the Divine Mother. Several devotees were also there. M was going to spend the night with the master. A little later, Sri Ramakrishna began to talk to the devotees privately on the veranda north of his room. He said, "It is good to meditate in the small hours of the morning and at dawn. One should also meditate daily after dusk." He instructed the devotees about meditation on the personal God and on the impersonal reality. After a time, he sat on the semicircular porch west of his room. It was about 9 o'clock. "Master, those who come here will certainly have all their doubts removed. What do you say?" M. "That is true, sir." A boat was moving in the Ganges far away from the bank. The boatmen began to sing. The sound of his voice, floating over the river, reached the master's ears, and he went into a spiritual mood. The hair on his body stood on end. He said to M, "Just feel my body." M was greatly amazed. He thought, the Upanishads describe Brahman as permeating the universe and the ether. Has that Brahman as sound touched the master's body? After a time, Sri Ramakrishna began to converse again. "Those who come here must have been born with good tendencies. Isn't that true?" M. "It is true, sir." "Master, Adhar must have good tendencies." M. "That goes without saying." "Master, a guileless man easily realizes God. There are two paths, the path of righteousness and the path of wickedness. One should follow the path of righteousness." M. "That is true, sir. If a thread has a single fiber sticking out, it cannot pass through the eye of a needle." "Master, if a man finds a hair in the food he is chewing, he spits out the entire morsel." M. "But you say that the man who has realized God cannot be injured by evil company. A blazing fire burns up even a plantain tree." Saturday, July 14th, 1883. Sri Ramakrishna arrived at Adhar's house in Calcutta. Rakal, M, and other devotees were with the master. Adhar had arranged to have Rajnarayan, the famous singer, and his party recite the Chandi. Rajnarayan began the recital in the worship hall. He sang, "I have surrendered my soul at the fearless feet of the Mother. Am I afraid of death anymore?" As the master listened, he became filled with divine fervor and joined the musicians. Now and then he improvised an appropriate line. Suddenly, he went into samadhi and stood still. The singer sang again, "Who is the woman yonder who lights the field of battle? Darker her body gleams even than the darkest storm cloud. And from her teeth there flash the lightning's blinding flames. Disheveled, her hair is flying behind her as she rushes about. Undaunted in this war between the gods and the demons, laughing her terrible laugh, she slays the fleeing asuras, and with her dazzling flashes, she bears the horrors of war. How beautiful on her brow the drops of moisture appear. About her dense black hair the bees are buzzing in swarms. The moon has veiled its face, beholding this sea of beauty. Tell me, who can she be, this sorceress? Wonder of wonders, Shiva himself, like a corpse, lies vanquished beneath her feet. Kamalakanta has guessed who she is. With the elephant's gait, she is none other than Kali, mother of all the worlds. Sri Ramakrishna was in deep samadhi. Saturday, July 21st, 1883. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when Sri Ramakrishna with Ramlal and one or two other devotees started from Dakshineshwar for Calcutta in a carriage. As the carriage passed the gate of the Kali temple, they met M, coming on foot with 4 mangoes in his hand. The carriage stopped and M saluted the master. Sri Ramakrishna was going to visit some of the devotees in Calcutta. Master, with a smile, to M, "Come with us. We are going to Adhar's house." M joyfully got in the carriage. Having received an English education, he did not believe in the tendencies inherited from previous births. But he had admitted a few days before that it was on account of Adhar's good tendencies from past births that he showed such great devotion to the master. Later on, he had thought about this subject and discovered that he was not yet completely convinced about inherited tendencies. He had come to Dakshineshwar that day to discuss the matter with Sri Ramakrishna. Master: "Well, what do you think of Adhar?" M: "He has great yearning for God." Master: "Adhar too speaks highly of you." M remained silent a while and then began to speak of past tendencies. M: "I haven't much faith in rebirth and inherited tendencies. Will that in any way injure my devotion to God?" Master: "It is enough to believe that all is possible in God's creation. Never allow the thought to cross your mind that your ideas are the only ones and that those of others are false. Then God will explain everything. What can a man understand of God's activities? The facets of God's creation are infinite. I do not try to understand God's actions at all. I have heard that everything is possible in God's creation, and I always bear that in mind. Therefore, I do not give a thought to the world, but meditate on God alone. Once Hanuman was asked, "What day of the lunar month is it?" Hanuman said, "I don't know anything about the day of the month, the position of the moon and the stars, or any such things. I think of Rama alone." Can one ever understand the work of God? He is so near. Still, it is not possible for us to know him. Balarama did not realize that Krishna was God. M: "That is true, sir." Master: "God has covered all with his Maya. He doesn't let us know anything. Maya is woman in gold. He who puts Maya aside to see God can see him. Once when I was explaining God's actions to someone, God suddenly showed me the lake at Kamarpukur. I saw a man removing the green scum and drinking the water. The water was as clear as crystal. God revealed to me that Satchidananda is covered by the scum of Maya. He who puts aside the green scum can drink the water." Let me tell you a very secret experience. Once I had entered the wood near the pine grove and was sitting there when I had a vision of something like a hidden door of a chamber. I couldn't see the inside of the chamber. I tried to bore a hole in the door with a nail knife, but did not succeed. As I bored, the earth fell back into the hole and filled it. Then suddenly, I made a very big opening. Uttering these words, the master remained silent. After a time, he said, "These are very profound words. I feel as if someone were pressing my mouth. I have seen with my own eyes that God dwells even in the sexual organ, I saw him once in the sexual intercourse of a dog and a bitch. The universe is conscious on account of the consciousness of God. Sometimes I find that this consciousness wriggles about, as it were, even in small fish. The carriage came to the crossing at Shobha Bazaar in Calcutta. The master continued saying, sometimes I find that the universe is saturated with the consciousness of God, as the earth is soaked with water in the rainy season. Well, I see so many visions, but I never feel vain about them. M, with a smile, that you should speak of vanity, sir. Master, upon my word, I don't feel vanity even in the slightest degree. M, there once lived a man in Greece, Socrates by name. A voice came from heaven and said that he was the wisest among men. Socrates was amazed at this revelation. He meditated on it for a long time in solitude and then realized its significance. He said to his friend, I alone of all people have understood that I do not know anything. But every man believes he is wise. In reality, all are ignorant.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवद्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायु त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारम् अवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. It's a tradition in Ramakrishna order that we read from Kata Upanishad, one of the prominent Upanishads among the 10, selected 10. So I'm going to read not the whole, but few important verses from the Upanishad. Part 1, Chapter 1. Vaishwan Vajasravasa, desiring rewards, performed the Vishvajit sacrifice, in which he gave away all his property. He had a son named Nachiketa. When the gifts were being distributed, faith entered into the heart of Nachiketa, who was still a boy. He said to himself, joyless surely are the worlds to which he goes, who gives away cows, no longer able to drink, to eat, to give milk. He said to his father, Father, to whom will you give me? He said, This is a second. He said this a second, a third time. Then his father replied, "On to death I will give you. Among many I am the first, or among many I am the middlemost, but certainly I am never the last. What purpose of the king of death will give my father serve today by thus giving me away to him?" Nachiketa said, "Look back and see how it was with those who came before us, and observe how it is with those who are now with us. A mortal ripens like corn, and like corn he springs up again. Verily, like a fire, a Brahmin guest enters a house. The householder pacifies him by giving him water and a seat. Bring him water, O king of death. The Brahmin who dwells in a house, fasting, destroy the foolish householder's hopes and expectations. The reward of his intercourse with pious people, the merit of his kindly speech, the good results of his sacrifices and beneficial deeds, and his cattle and children as well." Yama said, "O Brahmin, salutations to you. You are a venerable guest, and have dwelt in my house 3 nights without eating. Therefore, choose now 3 boons, one for each night. O Brahmin, may all be well with me." Nachiketa said, "O death, may Gautama, my father, be calm, cheerful, and free from anger toward me. May he recognize me and greet me when I shall have been sent home by you. This I choose as the first of the 3 boons." Yama said, "Through my favor, your father, Aruni, will recognize you and be again toward you as he was before. After having seen you freed from the jaws of death, he will sleep peacefully at night and bear no anger against you." Nachiketa said, "In the heavenly world there is no fear whatsoever. You, O death, are not there, and no one is afraid of old age. Leaving behind both hunger and thirst, and out of the reach of sorrow, all rejoice in heaven. You know, O death, the fire sacrifice which leads to heaven. Explain it to me, for I am full of faith. The inhabitants of heaven attain immortality. This I ask as my second boon." Yama said, "I know well the fire sacrifice which leads to heaven, and I will explain it to you. Listen to me. Now, this fire to be the means of attaining heaven. It is the support of the universe. It is hidden in the hearts of the wise." Yama then told him about the fire, which is the source of the worlds, and what bricks were to be gathered for the altar, and how many, and how the sacrificial fire was to be lighted. Nachiketa too repeated all this as it had been told him. Then Yama, being pleased with him, spoke again. High-souled Death, being well pleased, said to Nachiketa, "I will give you another boon. This fire shall be named after you. Take also from me this many-colored chain. He who has performed 3 times this Nachiketa sacrifice, having been instructed by the 3 and also has performed his three duties, overcomes birth and death, having known this fire born of Brahman, omniscient, luminous and adorable and realized it, he attained supreme peace. He who, having known the three, has performed 3 times the Nachiketa sacrifice, throws off, even here, the chains of death, overcomes grief, and rejoices in heaven. This, O Nachiketa, is your fire sacrifice, which leads to heaven, and which you have chosen as your second boon. People will call this fire by your name. Now, O Nachiketa, choose the third boon. Nachiketa said, there is this doubt about a man when he is dead. Some says that he exists, others that he does not. This I should like to know, taught by you. This is the third of my boons. Yama said, on this subject, even the gods formerly had their doubts. It is not easy to understand. The nature of Atman is subtle. Choose another boon. O Nachiketa, do not press me. Release me from that boon. Nachiketa said, O death, even the gods have their doubts about this subject, and you have declared it to be not easy to understand. But another teacher like you cannot be found, and surely no other boon is comparable to this. Yama said, choose sons and grandsons who shall live 100 years. Choose elephants, horses, herds of cattle and gold. Choose a vast domain on earth. Live here as many years as you desires. If you dream any other boon equal to that, choose it. Choose wealth and a long life. Be the king, O Nachiketa of the wide earth. Will I will make you the enjoyer of all desires. Whatever desires are difficult to satisfy in this world of mortals, choose them as you wish. These fair maidens, with their chariots and musical instruments, men cannot obtain them. I give them to you, and they shall wait upon you. But do not ask me about death. Nachiketa said, but, O death, these endure only till tomorrow. Furthermore, they exhaust the vigor of all the sense organs. Even the longest life is short indeed. Keep your horses, dances, and songs for yourself. Wealth can never make a man happy. Moreover, since I have beheld you, I shall certainly obtain wealth. I shall also live as long as you rule. Therefore, no boon will be accepted by me, but the one that I have asked. Who among decaying mortals here below, having approached the undecaying immortals, and knowing and coming to know that his higher needs may be fulfilled by them, would exult in a life over long after he had pondered on the pleasures arising from death and song, beauty and song. Tell me, O death, of that great hereafter about which a man has his doubts. Emma said, the good is one thing. From here onwards, the words of wisdom flows from Emma's instruction. The good is one thing, the pleasant another. Both of these, serving different needs, bind a man. It goes well with him who, of the two, takes the good, but he who chooses the pleasant misses the end. Fools dwelling in darkness, but thinking themselves wise and erudite, go round and round by various tortuous paths, till the blind led by the blind. Atman, when taught by an inferior person, is not easily comprehended, because it is diversely regarded by disputants. But when it is taught by him who has become one with Atman, there can remain no more doubt about it. Atman is subtler than the subtlest and not to be known through argument. This knowledge cannot be attained by reasoning. Atman become easy of comprehension. O dearest, when taught by another who have attained this knowledge now, you are indeed a man of true resolve. May we always have an inquirer like you. Nachiketa said, that which you see as other than righteousness and unrighteousness, other than all this cause and effect, other than what has been and what is to be, tell me that. Yama said, the goal which all the Vedas declare, which all austerities aim at, and which men desire when they lead the life of continence, I will tell you briefly. It is Om. The syllable Om is indeed Brahman. This syllable is the highest. Whosoever knows this attains, whosoever knows this syllable obtains all that he desires. Atman, smaller than the small, greater than the great, is hidden in the hearts of all living creatures. A man who is free from desires beholds the majesty of the self through tranquility of the senses and the mind and becomes free from grief. Atman cannot be attained by the study of the Vedas or by intelligence or by much hearing of sacred books. It is attained by him alone whom it chooses. To such a one, Atman reveals its own form. That self hidden in all beings does not shine forth, but it is seen by subtle seers through their own through their one-pointed and subtle intellects. Arise awake, approach the great and learn, like the sharp edge of a razor is that path. So the wise say, hard to tread and difficult to cross. And he who, practicing self-control, resides the supreme secret in an assembly of Brahmins, or at a after death ceremony, obtains thereby infinite rewards. He obtains infinite rewards. So the Upanishad goes on, and it is completed with few. Lastly, there are 100 and one arteries of the heart, and one of which pierces the crowns of the head. Going upward by it, a man of death attains immortality. But when his prana passes out by other arteries going in different directions, then he is reborn in the world. Having received this wisdom taught by the king of death, an entire process of yoga, Nachiketa became free from impurities and death and attain Brahman. Thus it will be also with any other who knows in this manner the innermost self. Om Tat Sat Om. I would like to share some of my reminiscences with our Swamiji. When I was in probationers training center, that is pre-probationer training center, that is in the year 2013, I was in Belur Math. And that time I was like a new person joining the order, so I had a lot of restrictions. So every day at 4:30 p.m. we used to meet. That time Swamiji Maharaj was a vice president. He was not president yet. So we have a procedure that all novices every day should go and meet vice president and the president and seek their blessings. Every day 4:30 p.m. we are not spared for that routine. So 4:30 p.m. 6 days a week except Sunday we go and meet him and in his quarters, resident quarters, and he will give maximum 15 minutes to us and we all sit around him and then we read Sri Ramakrishna Punti. It is a biography of Sri Ramakrishna written in a vernacular Bengali language by author called Akshay Kumar Sen, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. So it is read in Bengali, so obviously I didn't understand what. It's a nice song, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna, Banja Kalpataru, like that. One of our novices used to sing that. So Maharaj used to enjoy, and then he translated those. He spoke in Bengali, and later he understood that some of us did not know Bengali, so he spoke in English as well. So that I remember very well. Later, in 2017, when I was posted in Ramakrishna Institute of Culture, so he used to visit that place every year to give spiritual initiation. And that time I had an opportunity to carry his dinner and lunch and dinner every day. So to his room and hand over the full menu, whatever they prepared, since he had food restrictions, and I used to carry it like a servant. I felt honored as well. So I delivered the food to his assistants. And then I used to stand in a corner and watch how he eats and things like that. And one thing I had a little closeness with Swami because we spoke the same mother tongue, Tamil. So he loved to speak in Tamil. So but all his personal assistants, that is all, Swamis. He had 3 Swamis. They don't speak Tamil. So he was yearning to speak in Tamil. So whenever he sees me, he will talk to me in Tamil. But he had some physical ailment in his throat. So his personal assistants wouldn't allow to speak much longer with me. So they will chase me out. Hey, you leave, don't be here. But still he used to drag me and make me sit and talk to him. Then he once told me to read a Tamil hymn called Tiruvasakam. Tiruvasakam is it is on Shiva's glories, written in Tamil. It's a very beautiful hymn. So I recited that to him, and he was listening. Then one day he asked me, what all books you study? Because usually these questions they ask, the senior monks ask all novices. So he asked, what books do you study? What is your daily routine? What are the books have you studied or are you studying and all this? Then I said, usual books, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, The Divine Plays of Holy Trio, Complete Works of Swamiji, and Sister Nivedita, and many other books I listed. Then suddenly you asked, what about Upanishads? Yes, I do study Upanishads. Then I added, that time I was studying Upanishads commentary written by Ranga Ramanuja Muni, one of the great scholar. He wrote commentary based on Ramanuja's philosophy. So I said, I was reading that. Then immediately asked, what about Shankaracharya? Then, yes, Swami, I do read Shankaracharya's too. So I don't neglect him. Then I told him frankly that I feel Ramanuja's Advaita seems for me is more practical. And then I said it is matching the bell fruit allegory of Sri Ramakrishna. Then I recited um, Ramanuja's Vedanta Sutra invocation, uh, that hymn in Sanskrit to him. That is Akila Bhuvana Janmastema Banghajalile Vinita Vidita Bhuta Brata Rakshaika Dikshe Sruti Sarasi Vidipte Brahmani Srinivase Bhavatumava Parasmin Semushi Bhakti Rupa. So this is a very beautiful meaning. I'm not going to go into that. Then after hearing that, he was smiling and said, all right, continue with your spiritual endeavors. Then while he used to stay a stretch of 10 to 15 days in the Gol Park, in the Institute of Culture. So that is, he used to give initiations. So he won't give initiation daily, but alternative days. So a stretch of 15 days, he will give initiation for 7 days, something like that. So every day a crowd of say 100 people used to come to receive initiation. So it was just like a festival. So every alternative day I used to go. It is a process of say 4-5 hours. There's lots of arrangements and things like that. So I was given a duty to clear flowers when during initiation you might have remembered also that they have a guru puja. They do a guru puja on the feet of guru. So 100 people offering flowers. So that has to be cleared. So I was doing that. I was sitting near to his feet, and I was clearing the flowers. And Swami was very loving to me. He identified me, and once we had a group photo taken in the Institute of Culture. Usually novice are not allowed. They don't allow to go close to the senior Swamis. But he called me, hey, you come here and sit next to me. And I was made to sit next. But the personal assistants, Swamis, they didn't like. So they immediately, after the photo was taken, they chased me out. Oh, go, leave from here. Don't, because he will start talking to me. So that's the reason. So that's all. Those I remember, and 2017, Swami became the president of the order in June, July, or August. Then after that, 2018, again he came as a president to the Institute of Culture. So even during that time, I had the opportunity to serve him, but his health was not very well, so he was not allowed to speak to anybody. So I was not allowed to speak. So they chased me all the time out. Even that time I was still novice. Then I was 2018 January during on Swami Vivekananda's birthday. Swamiji gave me Brahmacharya Diksha, that is first ordained as an ordained novice. So he gave me a name Bhuma Chaitanya. And after 2019, I came here to Portland. Then 2022, I returned to India for my final ordination. Then he ordained me into sannyasa on Sri Ramakrishna's birthday. That night, the ceremony was conducted, and Swami, humbly I bowed to him, and he ordained me into sannyasa and gave my name as Swami Devi Shananda. So that's the. After that, I didn't see him. So now I saw him only in the YouTube, and and I heard that he was sick for almost, yeah, maybe 6 7 months in a hospital, and I was inquiring with my friends in Belur Mat all the time how Swami is doing. Then a week back, I heard that he left his mortal body. So with this, I conclude. Om.
ॐ निरञ्जनं नित्यमनन्तरूपं भक्तानुकम्पाधृतविग्रहं वै ईशावतारं परमेशमीड्यं तं रामकृष्णं शिरसा नमामः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। Good morning, friends. We have gathered here to offer our respects to most revered Swami Srimad Swami Smaranananda Ji Maharaj, 17th President of our order, and also think about what is most important in our life, as Swami Vivekananda said, that in our lives one thing is certain, that one day we have to bid goodbye from this place. So it is death. Death is important. Death, as Swami Vivekananda said, that beggars die, emperors die. Everybody dies. Do we really die? That is the question. But we depart from here, that is certain. For that we have just now read from the Kathopanishad that there are two things. One is Shreyaha and Preyaha. Shreya means whatever is commendable, whatever is good, whatever is preferable. And Preyaha means whatever is pleasing, that gives a soothing sensation. So most of the people, they are happy with that. But only few people, they choose whatever is Shreyaha, whatever is good, whatever is permanent. In this world also, something we see temporary, ephemeral, something is permanent. Somehow we are attracted to whatever is ephemeral. But few people choose what is permanent. So Srimad Swami Smaranananda Ji had similar experience. So before going that, let me recount his biography a little, and then we'll think about it. He was born in 1929, 25th of December, in Andami, near Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu. Most of his schooling was done in Chennai, and then he went to Nashik, again came back to Chennai. All these details are there. And then after Nashik, he came to Bombay. He topped his entrance examination for RBI, Reserve Bank of India. He took a job. And he was influenced by Gandhiji. Especially three things were very important. What are those? Truthfulness and Brahmacharya. And third is Ram Nam, very special. Because many times we are buffeted by various circumstances and we do not know what will happen. But Ram Nam is very important. That time he was not initiated. And in between he used to go to the beach there. And lots of boulders are kept. So many times he used to go there and watch the breaking waves of the ocean and the sky and this and that. And he had a friend, I think Menon. So he used to talk with him that we are educated, we got a job, and what we see in the world, they work, they have families, they raise them, and then one day, goodbye. What is this world? What is the purpose of life? So one day he was sitting on the beach and he was thinking, these big, big boulders and this infinite ocean as it were, and the sky, infinite sky. And I am so small. But then another thought came to him. Though these are big, huge, but something is bigger within me. That realization happened, or that insight came to him. You know, it is like this, like a picture of universe, this whole universe, a picture in front of our eyes. Nowadays we can see that virtual reality. So they have like some gadget here and you can see whole thing. Even you can surf also, you can travel in stiller world. So he thought, though it is so huge, but it is something which is within me, is encompassing the whole world. Then he started searching, and then he also came to the Ramakrishna Vivekananda literature. And then he came to know that there was a center, still it is there in Mumbai, that time Bombay. So he went there and started going there, volunteering. But in the beginning he was not given any service. But he wanted to do some service. He asked the monk in charge and said, please give me some service. So he was given to clean the vessels, big, big vessels. He was happy. Then in 1952, he got initiation, and the same year he joined. And in 1958, he was transferred to Advaita Ashram, where he spent next 18 years. And he got sannyasa in 1960. After spending about 18 years, it has two centers, one is in Calcutta and another is in Himalaya, Mayavati. And he was there as assistant editor also. And then in 1958, he was transferred to Advaita Ashram. He got sannyas in 1960. In 1976, he was transferred from Advaita Ashram to Sharada Peeth. It's near Belur Math. Belur Math is on the Ganga, and just behind that, or As you enter, you go through the Sharda Pit. It is an educational center and it has vocational uh, uh, facilities also. In 1991, he was transferred to Chennai. In the meantime, he was chosen as one of the trustees in 1983. And in 1997, he became GS, General Secretary. In 2007, he was chosen one of the vice presidents after about 10 years. That's one of a very long tenure as General Secretary. In 2017, he became president after the passing away of Swami Atmasthanandaji Maharaj. So this is in short his biography, and he passed away, as you know, recently he passed away. So what is his, as in the beginning I recited a hymn, a shloka, Niranjanam Nityam Ananta Rupam, that which is eternal, without taint, Ananta Rupam, and he has various forms. Niranjanam, untainted, Nityam, eternal, Ananta Rupam, infinite forms. But he takes form. He takes form as Sri Ramakrishna, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Chaitanya, etc. And not only that, all forms are his forms. He dwells in all forms, even without form. He is present as immanent in all beings. Angushtamatra Purusham Sada Jananam Hridayavastita. He resides in the cave of our hearts. So it is the same truth is manifesting in so many forms. Though he has special forms. Similarly, as Sri Ramakrishna would say, that water, say there are various forms, like even vapor, ice, clean water or not that clean water. But all are water, Apo Narayana. So special manifestation is there. So in the incarnation that we find special manifestation. And some are chosen who have those qualities. In Bhagavad Gita we find that there are some qualities. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam. They say, Ahimsa Kshantara Arjavam. Let me read that because the meaning, otherwise I'll recite in Sanskrit, that will not be understandable. So it is better. Amanitva means who has no vanity or ego. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantirarjavam, Acharyopasanam, Shocham, Sthiryam, Atma Vinigraha. Humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, forbearance, uprightness, service to the teacher, purity, steadiness, self-control. And then it goes further, the renunciation of sense objects and also absence of egotism. Reflection on the evils of birth, death, old age, sickness and pain. Asakti ranabhishtanaha sneha. That means non-attachment, non-identification of self with son, wife, home and the rest, and constant even-mindedness in the occurrence of the desirable and the undesirable. So, even-mindedness, it is very important. So all these are, and more. unswerving devotion to me by the yoga of non-separation, resolved to sequestered places, distaste for the society of men, constant application to spiritual knowledge, understanding of the end of true knowledge, understanding of the gist of the principle of true knowledge. This is declared to be knowledge, and what is opposed to it is ignorance. Adhyatma jnana nittatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam. These are the signs and symptoms of knowledge. So in incarnation we find the fullest display of this. And those who follow an incarnation, say Sri Ramakrishna, all these fits correctly in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. And those who follow these qualities, why? Why they follow? Because in Shastra it is said, Sarvatraivahi Adhyatma Shastra. In all the spiritual scriptures, Kritartha Lakshanani Yani, whatever is the perfected qualities, those are to be inculcated in one's own life. So in the life of Sri Ramakrishna or incarnations, we find full display of such qualities. What we find in his life, yes, display of all these amanittam. When I was novice, I came for training center in 1982. Then onward I know him. And the first meeting that I had, I went to Sharada Pit, which is close by, and he called me by name. I was amazed to find this, because he gathered my name. So, a friendliness, and right from last 42 years, though I did not interact much, but what I found is that simplicity, and not that I am something, I am president, or I am, when I went to India in 2010, so he commented, "Oh, tumi mota hoye gacho," that you have become a bit heavy. So like that, say friendliness, amanittam, adambhitvam. He was never that pride, whatever he is. When it was asked him that, "Maharaj, now you are president," he said, so what? It got vacant and I was the senior most, and they chose me. I would not have minded if they would not have chosen me. So this kind of qualities that we find in his life, simplicity, very important, straightforwardness. And he would even, he would interact with the novice who has joined yesterday, or even with devotees. And wherever he was posted, he did his best. It was his 4 principles. One is that whatever you do, you give your best. So wherever he was posted, he did his best. Like in Advaita Ashram, even in Mayavati, in Sharada Pit, where he was posted, and also Chennai. After that, he was posted in Chennai. Chennai means Madras. There he started building the temple. So he did a lots of improvement wherever he was posted. So he did his best, but he was not bound there. That's very important. Same-sightedness. So this is, and see, in work lots of conflicts also come. So he used to tell people that is Thakur's work. Thakur is doing. Okay, whatever comes to me, I give. Let his other things are Thakur. And then one brahmachari asked him that, I don't see you doing lots of japa or meditation or pilgrimage. So what is the secret of your being? He said, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. First one has to have this idea confirmed. And he said, when I came to know what is the goal of life, what is the aim of life, right from that time I knew that this world is ephemeral, it is temporary. And whatever is permanent, that I must seek. And that is why this should be the ideal. And secondly, we should depend wholly and we surrender wholly to Sri Ramakrishna or to God. So these two principles guided him. He told that brahmachari. And along with that give your best and also think that it is Thakur who is running everything, not that you are there. What's the basis of this? There is a little book, Words of the Master. It was written by Swami Smaranananda ji. So I'll read a little from that. So it was written by Swami Smaranananda ji. But when he was writing, Sri Ramakrishna would appear sometimes. Oh, you are writing like this, but I did not say like this. So edited by Sri Ramakrishna. So I'll read this, and this is very important because this is the ideal that we should live. And that is what Swamiji also lived. So first, know yourself and you shall then know God. What is my ego? Is it my hand or foot or flesh or blood or any other part of my body? Reflect well and you will know that there is no such thing as I. The more you peel of the skin of an onion, the more skin only appears. You cannot get any kernel. So when you analyze the ego, it vanishes away into nothingness. What is ultimately left behind is the Atman, soul, the self, the pure Chit, knowledge, absolute. God appears when the ego dies. There are two egos, one ripe, pakka, and other unripe, kacha. This is my house, my room, my son. The ego that has this idea is unripe, while the ripe ego is that which thinks, I am the servant of the Lord. I am his child. I am ever free and all-knowing. Third, a certain person asked Sri Ramakrishna. So somebody came and Sri Ramakrishna, so we want shortcuts. This is too many things. So please tell me one thing. Kindly instruct me in one word so that I may be illumined. So his demand was very important. We also want like that. To which he replied, the Absolute is the only reality. The Absolute is the only reality. The universe is unreal. Realize this and then sit silent. So after that, Sri Ramakrishna kept quiet. So this is what he taught to that person. And the same thing Swami told to that brahmachari, that time brahmachari, now he is a Swami, that one thing you understand, this world is ephemeral. It is not going to last for long. So what is real, what is permanent, what is not ephemeral, hold to that and live like a floating object which is not attached with anything. So this is, in short, his life. He lived a life, a full life, and very useful. Not only that, as our motto goes, Atmano Mokshartham Jagadhitaya cha. He lived his life like a spring. He lived his life for the welfare of others, and that is the essence of his life, what I understand. Vasantavat lokhitaya charanta. So he lived and he traveled a lot. He came to Portland also. Now we'll listen to that story from Shayan. Vasantavat lokhitaya charanta. Okay. So on this occasion, let us pray to the Divine that we are not to be attracted to this today's world, but we must choose what is permanent, what is shreyaha, what is ideal, what is commendable, not what is attractive, not what is pleasing for time being. With this prayer, I'll say Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tamaram Krishnam Shirasa Namamaha Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadmi Tayoh Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the last part. Before I begin, this will consist of some information. Swami Ji already went through his life. I'll give a quick note on a few parts. Then it will consist of his trip to Portland in 2000. Thanks to Arnav for helping me with scanning the images from our archives. After that, I had the opportunity of interacting with him a couple of times, but I specifically remember 2 times because those interactions existed beyond 30 minutes, consecutively 2 days in 2005 when he visited. So I'll tell what he talked about, and it kind of intrigued me to learn more about certain places and Vedanta movements. So we'll go there. So you already know about his fandom of Mahatma Gandhi and him chanting Sri Rama before he got initiated. So quickly about this, that he was he first came to Belur Math in 54 with Swami Sambudhananda, who was at that time the head of our Mumbai ashrama. He also visited Hollywood. Thanks to Swami Chaitananda for this picture of him. Swami Sambudhananda. This is a picture of Swamiji here in this room itself when he visited us in April 2000. And then this Swami already talked about his talks, his walks in the Worldly Beach in Mumbai, and his life in Advaita Ashrama. Now, there is a triple star here because from 1958, he started staying in our Kolkata Advaita Ashrama, shuttling between Mayavati in Himalayas and Kolkata. I'll tell you why it is interesting. So, then you heard about his Saradapit time. Between 1997 to 2007, he was the General Secretary, and that is the time he visited the school that I studied in, which is Narendrapur. We'll go there. And this is the time I had interaction with him over 2 days over lunch, while he was having food, and I had the opportunity of serving lunch in that dining hall. Uh, Swami Chetanananda stayed with Maharaj for about 10 to 11 years, his entire time in Advaita Ashrama. These worldly beach stories were shared by Swami Smaranananda to Chetanananda ji. He shared it on his page, and it is still there. This letter confirms his dates of sannyasa and his year of brahmacharya and things like that. The reason is he wrote this letter to our San Francisco Vedanta people. During Swami Prabhudananda's reminiscences, Swami Smaranananda wrote a wrong reminiscence about his journey with Swami Prabhudananda. He wrote this letter. This letter was collected. This letter is addressed to Prabhrajika Viraja Prana Mataji in San Francisco. Many of you have met her. And this letter was thanks to the Vedanta students in Brazil and Mataji is in San Francisco for making this available. So this is his trip to Portland, thanks to great archivalists. This was his literal, you can even find out the flight numbers that he took of United Airlines to come to Portland and live from his trip here. There are few pictures from that time of him in Scappoose, him visiting a couple of places around here, sightseeing Multnomah Falls and all those Columbia Gorge areas with the devotees at that time. One person is still here around Tanhai from these photographs. Then we have our usual culprits. David in the left picture, you can see him. We have Swami eating at Scappoose. I just like this picture where Swami Shantarupananda greeted him in Portland airport with one lily in the right part. And then you can see Alan, who still visits us in the background. Toby, you don't change. So this is a picture about 24 years ago. You exactly look the same in the picture. So that's you. This is a picture of a person you already know in the left side. Quick hint, he is our chief historian and our secretary. So the other half of the picture is where he is trying to gift the book Chronology of Swami Vivekananda in the West to Swami Smaranananda on this dais itself. That is the book that has been given. Terence wrote this book with Amola or Caroline Kenny, who used to live at that time in Portland. So my interaction happened in Narendrapur. Now I was trying to find a picture of how Swami Smaranananda looked in 2005. I did not find one, so this is a picture of him in 2008 in the middle. This was the closest I remember him, how he looked like, because the current pictures of 2024, he is much older than what he was in 2005. In 2005, this is the incident that happened. The Swami Gahanananda, whose picture you see on the left, he was vice president of the order. He became a president a few months later. In 2005. He was still vice president. It was March, April, and he visited my school, Narendrapur. He was the chief guest. Swami Smaranananda visited with him as a guest. This picture is from a blog of a monk who I follow. He was in Singapore for a long time. His name is Swami Vimokshananda. He writes, this is a monk who has his own blog and he shares school photos of other monks. This is a picture of him visiting, Swami Smaranananda visiting South Africa. And this is some tradition there where he participated. And the school I went was run by Swami Asaktananda, the person, completely right picture, the left person. If you have been in Hollywood in 1970s, you have definitely known about him. He was in Hollywood for a long time. He moved to India and stayed in my school from 1979 till his last breath. So all these people were there. And what happened is this hall. So last year, when I was in India, I took Suzy to this place. So this is in Narendrapur, the hostels that are there are named after the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. So this is Shivananda Bhavan. It is a hostel or a dorm, what you call, or a hall of residence for the students there. It is a residential school. The star-marked room on the first floor is where I stayed for 2 years. From 2005 to 2007, room number 2 in Shivananda Bhavan. Now, every of this Bhavan has a prayer hall. You can see the prayer hall in the right. This is how an Indian prayer hall looks like, usually. And you can see this stepped pattern which is now there in our shrine. This is how every prayer hall in Narendrapur looked like. So Maharaj used to visit this hostel for lunch and dinner. Swami Smaranananda used to come for lunch and dinner to the dining hall of this place. Now, in this dining hall, the usual idea was students would eat, but some students would serve the food. So after the lunch was over, these servers would eat, and during this time, he was there and he was sitting in the opposite bench of mine. I was sitting with some other students. I was one of the servers of food, and he was on the opposite bench. He was surrounded by monks, and he was telling these very interesting stories of his world tour, because from 1997 he was the general secretary and he was invited to visit in many places. Three things that he told over these 2 days really intrigued me, and I questioned him this exists. So it comes with a disclaimer that most people in India, many people, do not know about Vedanta movement in the Western country. My knowledge at that time, 15-year-old Shayandev, was restricted to the Vedanta centers in United States and Canada and a little bit of South America. I did not know about our existing Vedanta centers in mainland Europe. Now, Swami Smaranananda had extensively traveled in Europe, and he talked about a few places which really intrigued me, and I went and read about them. It kind of remained a lifelong question to learn more about them, so I keep on gathering information, and you would know you'll see the current statuses. So first is Vedanta in Spain. As of today, we do not have an official center of Ramakrishna order in Spain. But this is what Swami Smaranananda in 2005 talked about. He talked about this, there is a big banner in Spain called University of Consciousness. They are very interested in a Vedantic yoga and meditation center. This is what he said at that time. And they are not affiliated to our order, but they are this group of students who are very much interested in Vedanta. And they interact with Swamis of our order. So today the current status is this Campus 5. It exists in 2 places, one by Valencia, it is here on the right, and one by the border of Portugal and Spain. Now, last year I came to know more about this because of Swami Tattamayananda. So Swami Tattamayananda is very connected with this group of Vedanta devotees in Spain. He has visited them a couple of times, and the monk there, who is not a Ramakrishna order monk, his picture is on the left, Swami Rameshwarananda Giri, he has also visited San Francisco. So Swami Tattamayananda ji last year came and shared his story of Spain with us over dinner. Swami ji was also there. I took these pictures from SF Vedanta. So this person currently runs this agenda of Vedanta there. He is not a Ramakrishna order monk, but deeply embedded into the thoughts of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and he had visited. Now on the right picture you can see Swami Vedananda. It's very rare to find a picture of him these days, with him on the top of San Francisco Old Temple. So this is the current status of Vedanta in Spain. Now the next thing he talked about is Vedanta in Italy. So I'll quickly go there. So he talked about this place. Forgive my Latin, I'll pronounce Pontifical Athenaeum Regina Apostolorum. Now, Swami Vivekananda visited Rome in 1900 in his second trip. And I have marked the place, Rome, and also he visited this northern part, border of Switzerland and Italy, called Chamonix. This is an area he visited in his first trip also. Terence already shows this as a pointer in his book. Now, this Regina Apostolorum or pontifical thing, this was made by Pope in 1990s, 1993 I think. And this center, they train their novices and their people. So this is a pontifical university. They want representatives from various traditions to engage with the novices. So many times they have invited monks from the Ramakrishna order. Swami Jitatmananda visited them. But I did not know this story from him. Much later in 2012, our person who was in this place in Rome told a little bit about this. So this is how the center currently looks like. I learned this from Swami Narasimhananda. He was our representative from our order to this pontifical Athenaeum in Rome. In 2012, he came to IIT Kanpur, where I was a student, and he shared his story. But this place was there for a long time, and Swami Smaranananda talked about it back in 2005. He probably have visited this place in Italy. I'm not sure. But today I know that Italy has many interested groups dedicated. They are very connected to our Germany and France centers, where we have proper centers. In 2022, I had the opportunity, Susie and I had the opportunity of visiting Chicago for their opening of Home of Harmony with Swami C. And there in Chicago, they held a monk conference of all the heads of the temples of the America and Canada. There, Swami Yogatmananda, our Providence Swami, he said that in Italy now the devotees are very organized, and they have asked Belur Math for a center and a resident monk. Then Vedanta in Istanbul. So this really intrigued me, like really intrigued me, because when you think about Turkey as a country, the thing that comes in our mind is, it's an Islamic nation or something like that. But no, actually it is a secular country. Istanbul has this very interesting history. Swami Vivekananda visited Istanbul in 1900. And Swami Vivekananda wrote letters to people from there, Alberta Sturgis, and he visited with Emma Calv, Jules Bowles, Per Hyacinth, and Josephine MacLeod. During this, he attended many museums, he went various places, but he also attended something called a Selimlik. Selimlik, it doesn't exist anymore, you can't hear it anymore. It is a Muslim prayer which is conducted by the Sultan. In those days, Abdul Hamid II conducted it, and Swami Vivekananda actually observed this Selimlik with his own eyes. It is there in Sister Gargi's book of New Discoveries. So, but Swami Smaranananda, when he was telling this about Istanbul, all the other monks and the students were looking at him and said, Istanbul, why? Like, what is so special about Constantinople or Istanbul? So then he mentioned this mosque, Hagia Sophia. He has visited this place. So this mosque has been a seat of so many religions and traditions within the last 1,000 years. Is amazing. It was first some Eastern Orthodox, then it became Catholic, then it was conquered by Muslims and it became a mosque, then it was a museum, then it again became a mosque. So, so there's a very interesting history. Swami Smaranananda ji visited this place, and I took an excerpt from Swami Vivekananda's writings about from this place, where he talks about what he feels about that. And when he was telling this, he talked that Istanbul had many other traditions which are practically missing. That really intrigued me. I immediately, after that conversation, went to the library to learn about them, because I had no idea. So he talked about two traditions which I have never heard about. I have heard about Eastern Orthodox, Islam and things like that. But he talked about one tradition which he said was a Mongol tradition, practically lost. And he talked about another monotheistic idea in Kurdish people. Now, we hear so much stories about Kurdish people. Like, you go to CNN, you will find so many articles about them, and very unfortunate of many things. But that really intrigued. So I thought of so whenever I met a Turkish person, as a friend in my studies in United States, I would ask them about this. So quick pictures which those people shared with me and taught me. So Istanbul really has a lot of things. They still have the whirling dervishes, which are practically absent in Sufism now. They are still present there. Of course, there is Orthodox Islam. There is a lot of Eastern Orthodoxy. But this Mongolian faith, Tengrism. I had no idea. Swami talked about this for like 2 minutes. I later on came to learn about it from internet. And he also talked about this monotheistic idea which is present in this Turkish Kurdistan. This is called Yazidism. This is a Central Asian thought which believes in monotheism. They only believe in that one true thing. They predate Islam and all of these things. Very few people exist, and there is a tradition like that till there today. So thanks to all of these friends for educating me about Turkey and all of this. So Swami really knew about these things at that time, and it really intrigued me because we cannot think of such things in these places. So thanks to him, I met him later few times, but these interactions were very small, maybe 1-2 minutes in Belur Mutt. But those 2 days of interactions over 30 days over lunch while serving him was very intriguing to hear so much of his stories of his travels, particularly these unique ones that we still don't have a center and things like that. Thank you.